Hey there, everybody. Thank you for joining me today. My name's Ryan Brinker. I'm with a company called Creative Pathways and Means. And today we're going to be going over creativity and why we even bother with it. This is actually a question that unfortunately isn't that rare. And even if you don't want to admit it, it might be something that you've thought of before. It's like, oh, creativity, that's fun, but why would somebody invest in themselves or take the time to learn how to be more creative, especially if you're already in a professional setting? Well, we have some answers to that, and we're going to take a look at them right now together. So, first of all, we're going to start by just addressing sort of the situation that we find people in sometimes, and it's totally natural. It's fine that if you're in this situation, but it's like creativity, that's just for art and stuff, right? That's just for poetry and painting and that kind of thing. Couldn't be further from the truth. It's a common misconception forever that creativity is just for the arts, but as it turns out, creativity is a skill that impacts every area of life, as you see on the screen: professional, academic, social, communal, everything. And that's only going to become more the case in the future. But don't worry, you don't have to take my word for it. So, there is a little website called LinkedIn. I don't know if you heard about it. It's still kind of up and coming. No, of course you've heard of LinkedIn. It's one of the biggest social media platforms, especially among employers and professionals. So LinkedIn has a think tank arm of it. That's probably not what they would call it, but it's basically the area of LinkedIn that does research, and it's called LinkedIn Learning. In the largest employer skills study ever conducted, which was conducted by LinkedIn Learning in 2018, it was found that two skills are going to be the main things employers are demanding more and more of in the coming decade. Now, before we get to the answer of what the skills are, just like this study, the size of it, you can't overstate. We're talking 660 million data points across 58 million companies, 120,000 schools. I actually think it's slightly more than that, and more than 38,000 uniquely identified skills. So it's not like, we're just picking from a bank willy-nilly. 38,000 uniquely identified skills to compete against. And the two skills that tied for first place are the following. Number one, or the first of the two, is cloud computing. I don't know anything at all about cloud computing. I don't know what to say in this situation. Odds are really good that you don't know what cloud computing is either. If you do, congratulations, you're going to be a billionaire soon. I don't know if you know that, but as far as us and the vast majority of the people in the audience, no clue what cloud computing is or how to do it, so we're not going to worry about that one for right now. Now, the second one that tied for first place among the most valuable skills for employers over the next decade, that one we can all learn how to use, and that is creative problem solving. So, just to take any kind of question out of this, just to remove any kind of confusion, let me state really clearly what I'm saying. Creative problem solving will be the most in-demand skill for employers over the next decade, according to the largest employer skills study ever conducted, which again was LinkedIn. Does it sound like creativity might be something that we want to put a little bit more stake in? Kind of sounds like it's not just for the artist. That's what it seems like to me. And we find that really convincing here at CPM, but feasibly, you could be saying to yourselves, yeah, okay, impressive, but is it just LinkedIn? Was it just this one study? Nope, not even close. Problem solving, and more specifically, creative problem solving, is at the front of mind for a huge portion of the powers that be, a huge portion of the people who will be making the decisions about the economy of the future. Here, let me just give you another example real quick. This slide is taken from the Department of Chemical Engineering, University of Michigan in Ann Arbor, from 2016, and it ranks relative importance of these skills for employers after they were asked these questions. Look at where problem solving is in comparison to these other skills. Problem solving was placed ahead of communication, teamwork, learning skills, critical thinking. Problem solving was listed as a skill more important to employers than critical thinking. Also, ethics, technical skills, so like the ability to do the job, not nearly as important to employers writ large as problem solving and working with diversity. These are all things that we've heard before, all things that we've heard from employers about how important these things are within a workforce, and none of them are listed as important as problem solving. So, that, among other things, led the National Science Foundation, which, by the way, when you hear National Science Foundation, think U.S. federal government, because this is an arm of a department of the U.S. federal government. So just keep that in mind as we go on here. The National Science Foundation awarded a $350,000 grant specifically to research problem solving in engineering. And I put on here an excerpt from the abstract just to sort of more clearly make the point. Typical engineering courses emphasize closed-ended examples and problems. While these problems aid in the development of convergent thinking skills, they usually do not provide practice for improving the divergent thinking patterns essential for the solution of industrial and research problems. Divergent thinking patterns. What does that sound like to you? If we were to put a label on that kind of problem solving, what's a word, divergent thinking patterns, that comes to mind that this successful grant application said there was a need for going into the future of engineering? I can't really think of a word better than creative. So we're talking about the need for problem solving, and within the abstract of the successful grant application that the US government agreed to pay, the idea is that it's not only problem solving, it's creative problem solving. So again, I don't want there to be any ambiguity to this. Let's be clear about what I'm saying here. That's the United States federal government paying $350,000 in agreement with the concept that creative problem solving is vital to a major economic industry and interest. In this example, engineering. But it doesn't take a leap of logic to understand that innovation and creative problem solving and a creative approach to fixing new issues would be vital in any industry. Again, the point of this video is talking about how creativity isn't just for the arts. And I think that case has been made not only by us, but by LinkedIn, by the government, by the School of Engineering, all of these things. Creativity is not just for the arts, it is vital to the economy of the future. And going on, honestly, it's really not hard to see why when you think about creativity in this context. But let's get really concrete. Think about it. What even is creativity exactly? Well, taking a look at the definition of creativity, it is the process of engaging with the future and the unknown in new and novel ways. Thinking of creativity like that, it becomes the key to the future, essentially. And I've made my case as clear as I can here in this other corner of the slide. Between AI, automation, social media, etc., the future seems more unknowable than ever, which means that all of us have the opportunity to face it however we see fit. Now, why would we choose to do what's worked before when we're in a situation that's unlike any situation that's ever been? When you think of it in that context, when you look at things through that lens, and in this situation, the person who can effectively utilize their creativity is the one with the clear advantage. That's why creative problem solving will be the most in-demand skill, the best way to future-proof yourself in the coming decade. It's a clear advantage no matter what industry, discipline, interest, no matter what. Creative problem solving will set you up for success compared to your peers every time. And that's why CPM exists, actually. This company, like I said, Creative Pathways and Means, this isn't just something that we think about once in a while. This is the reason we come to work every day. You can see on the screen that at one point I did have hair. Tragically, that's gone now. SJ in the picture there on the left, he doesn't have hair either, but he wore a hat. He was smart. Connor has a bunch of hair. Anyway, the whole reason that this company came together, and you can see some of the products we offer in the top corner. That's the creativity model, creative problem solving, creative mastery, and creative advisory services. Again, the word creative in all of them. We've really hitched our horse to this wagon, if that's even a saying. I don't know for sure if it is. And we don't have time exactly to get into all those products. You can find more on our website, but we just want to make the case that we're real believers in this. We're definitely walking this talk about creative problem solving. We've bet everything on it, and we feel pretty secure in that bet. So, bottom line, if you take nothing else away from this, I want you to understand and believe that creativity is the way of the future. That's what the experts say. That's what academia says. That seems to be self-evidently true. Creativity is the way of the future. And whether it's with CPM or someone else, we're agnostic to your approach on that. However you feel like you want to strengthen your creativity, we encourage you to do so. Invest in your creativity and in yourself. Future-proof yourself. Don't let the future catch you by surprise. Creative problem solving is an advantage you will need in the market of tomorrow. So, Thank you very much. If you've found this useful, we sure hope you have. You can see here our social media icons. We're at Pathways Means everywhere you want to look. And if you're interested in more information, you can scan the QR code or visit pathwaysmeans.com. Once again, I'm Ryan Brinker. Thank you very much.